So, my name is Alissa Brown, and I am a veterinarian at Rancho Santa Margarita Animal Care Center. Definitely. And I would say goal setting is going to be part of your path for the rest of your career and life. I mean, goals help you stay on track and achieve your ultimate idea or dream. And whether it's getting to veterinary school and the goals that it takes to get to school versus goals every day at work, whether it's understanding certain mechanisms of diseases at work each day, or trying to communicate to people in a better way. There's always a goal to achieve, and sometimes it takes longer than others to achieve certain goals, but I think setting goals is something you should always do, whether it's at school or at work or in your everyday life. My interest, like so many people and veterinarians in our field, came from my experience as a young girl, and my grandparents had a dog named Golda, who I fell in love with, and she was really what triggered my desire to do something with animals, which as I got older became an idea to do veterinary medicine. And I think in our profession, that's how a lot of people feel, like it was ingrained in them when they were young and had a desire to do it for a long time, and that's my experience too. So I remember, of course, as a kid and as a high schooler, I always thought, how great it would be to become a veterinarian. And then in college, the classes that are required to do veterinary medicine are all science, they're all chemistry, they're hard. And that terrified me. I was never strong in science or math, which are like a lot of people in veterinary medicine. And there was a point where I was thinking, I don't know if this is going to be possible for me to do. And it was spring break my freshman year of college, like after my freshman year. And it dawned on me, this is what I've always wanted to do, and if I don't try, it's certainly not going to happen. So I might as well go for it, set the goals, and do as best I can, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, at least I tried. And that's when I ended up switching majors and going forward with pre-veterinary medicine. So, I guess that ties into the other question too. I entered college with a declared major because the school I went to required to declare your major. Yeah, and I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and I went in as a nutrition major because I had cold feet. I thought there's no way I'm going to be able to pass the classes that I'm going to need to take to do veterinary medicine. So I entered as a nutrition major. I did nutrition classes for a year, and I was good at it. It came, pretty naturally, but it wasn't what I loved. I wasn't like excited to be a dietitian or a nutritionist. And that's when spring break came along, and it just, we were talking about what we were hoping to do with our lives, and it was like, gee, I'm stuck in this major, and it's not what I'm passionate about. Yeah. And so I just decided right then and there, I'm going to take the steps necessary to change my major, do animal science, enroll in, those classes I was terrified of. And those classes were hard. I got tutors for every science class. I lived in office hours with my chemistry teachers, and I think, a C- was one of my grades in my chemistry class, and that got me through. So my trajectory definitely changed in college for the good. Right now. So I am proud to say that I'm a general practitioner in veterinary medicine, which just means you do a little bit of everything every day. And I'm particularly involved with small animals, so companion animals, dogs, cats, the occasional rabbit or hamster. I tend to refer birds, yes, steer clear of the birds. But yeah, it's just general practice, and that is great for me because it allows a balance in your life, which I think is important. You're not living at work 24/7, and you get to do surgery, and you get to do internal medicine, and you get to do wellness and prevention. And I thought about doing a specialty, like getting boarded in surgery or oncology, the study of cancer, but that really narrows your focus, and that means that that's all you're going to do. And for me, I wanted a little bit wider, experience, which I'm really grateful that's what I chose. So I did my undergraduate degree at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. It was a bachelor's of science in animal science. And then I did fortunately get into vet school following college. I did do a 5-year college career, but that's because I studied abroad and got to do a lot of hands-on, they were called enterprises at Cal Poly, where you got to do hands-on work with large animals, and I spent the summer delivering calves, baby cows, and I spent the summer at a bull test where you auction bulls and doctor big bulls, and totally out of my element. I mean, I grew up here and, was never a farm girl or anything like that, but I found that the wider experience you have, the more competitive you are as a veterinary applicant. So that's something I would recommend trying to get involved with, is as many extracurricular So I don't think so. I mean, as far as selling myself short, sometimes, I would question, is this really something I'm cut out for? Is this career with all of its challenges, the dealing with dying and death every day, the emotions people have with their animals when they're sick, and I mean, that is a toll that kind of you have to balance in your life, but I don't think it comes down to selling myself short. I think, if anything, it makes it stronger and versatile. And I don't know if that answers your question, but okay. Yes and no. That's a tricky question, because there's a lot of things when you're a veterinarian that you want to do and that are in the best interest of the patient. But a lot of the times people cannot make that happen, usually for financial reasons or, for whatever emotional reasons they may have. But sometimes they allow you to do everything you can, and sometimes you're really limited, and sometimes you can't do enough. But as far as doing what's in my power to do, I think that's something you should always strive to do, is best medicine, and that would be doing, everything you can to make that patient feel better, get better, and be their doctor. Yes, I would say be persistent, because there will be so many people that tell you that you're not going to be able to do it, that it's too competitive, that if you don't get A's in all your science classes, they're never going to accept you. I mean, so many times, we would go to presentations in college. So you want to be a vet? Here's the lecture at 8 o'clock this evening. Everyone who wants, an interest, come and attend. So I would go each year, and they would say, this is the average GPA, and this is the average number of applicants, and this is the number of students that get accepted. And if you're not X, Y, and Z, then you're not going to get in. And if I had let all those people steer me off, then I would not be here where I am. I mean, I wasn't that student that had the best GPA. I was not meeting the requirements that, they stated had to be met. But I think if you're persistent, if you work hard and you make good connections with people along the way, it will pay off and you will be able to make it happen. So don't give up if someone says there's no way you're going to get it, because if you believe it and you have a good support team, then it will happen. So I'm biased, but I do think Cal Poly San Luis Obispo was an excellent school for pre-veterinary medicine. I mean, they have a huge animal science department. They have a ton of different projects set up for that purpose, like the ones I've talked about. I mean, I did like 5 or 6 of those projects. You know, manage a ranch down in Santa Cruz where you herd cows, and just random things that make you a more rounded applicant. And that, to me, without those programs, I would not have gotten in. So Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, Cal Poly Pomona is also very similar in their animal science department. So they both have really good programs set up to try to benefit people that want to do veterinary medicine. And the school, the vet school I went to, Western, is closely linked to Cal Poly. Yes, they work very closely together. Western always accepts a larger number from Cal Poly than any other school, really. So that was helpful. Davis, UC Davis is also a great school. Their vet school is amazing, and it's really hard to get into. But if you're at that college already in their programs, then you have the opportunity to meet the faculty and start making connections with the health givers. So I would say that would be a good option too. And I would say students get in kind of from all over the place. I mean, in my vet class, there were people from all over the country, from random little schools I've never heard of. So as long as you make the most of your experience in college and make the effort to get exposure to different things, then I think you will be an outstanding applicant and competitive. Honestly, and this might be boring, but I love dogs, and I have always loved dogs, and I would have to say I would be like a golden retriever. In fact, Miss Sahan will appreciate this, but I fell in love with her dog Maddie when we were growing up as kids, and she was a golden retriever, and there's just something about them that I love. And of course now I have Stormy over there. But it's a dog's life. I mean, they have it pretty good.
So thank you.
You're welcome. You are very welcome.